When it comes to electronics these days, we have no shortage of sizes, um, different types of storage, uh, bigger and bigger storage. And one of the great things about tablets is you typically have one to two different sizes in that tablet series. And what we're going to be taking a look at today is the Galaxy Tab S7 series. So we're going to be looking at the Galaxy Tab S7 and the Galaxy Tab S7 Plus. So first off, let's take a look at what you're going to get in the box for both of these. It's pretty much going to be the same. So you'll get an S Pen, you'll get a 15-watt charging brick, a USB Type A to USB Type C cable, a SD card release tool, or if you have the 5G version, that will release your SIM card and your SD card. That's in that same slot. And then you have just a quick reference tool. So in terms of pricing, color, and configurations, what you're going to be looking at is a starting price of $649.99 for the Tab S7, and it goes up by $200 more for a starting price of $849 with the Tab S7 Plus. You do have a Wi-Fi only model and a 5G model, and that 5G model is going to be available on the main carriers. Of course, I believe there's 3 now, right? Yeah, because T-Mobile and Sprint are a thing. So you have the Verizon, T-Mobile, AT&T. They even have it on US Cellular, which I don't really know too much about, but it's there if you want it. Now, in terms of your color options, you have a Mystic Black, a Mystic Bronze, and a Mystic Silver. For your storage, you have 128, 256, and 512. Here's a little thing to be aware of when you are choosing your storage and your color option though. So if you are going for the black color, you'll be able to get all 3 storage models, the 128, the 256, and the 512. But the Mystic Bronze will only come in a 128 gigabyte and a 512 gigabyte. And the Mystic Silver is only going to come in a 128 gigabyte and a 256. The 256 and the 512 options come with 2 more gigs of RAM. I forgot to mention the RAM. So at its base models, these come with 6 gigs of RAM. If you go up in storage, 256 or 512, you get 2 more gigs of RAM for a total of 8. If you're going for the 5G model also, in terms of color, you're only going to be able to get the 5G model no matter what in black. So, you know, if you wanted that nice Mystic Bronze color, your dreams are kind of crushed because, you know, Samsung didn't really make all of these tablets in the same colors and same configurations, which makes absolutely no sense. Sorry for my little tidbit there. But that is all we have for the configurations and everything else. All right, so let's talk about what is the same with both of these tablets. So pretty much both of them are going to be using the Snapdragon 865 Plus. Both are going to have Wi-Fi 6AX. So if you have a router that supports that, you'll definitely get the best speeds, highest and speedy speeds possible. Speedy speeds. Both of them are going to have a Type-C port with 45-watt charging, USB 3.2 at Gen 1 speeds, if you're wondering also what comes out of that port. And yes, you do have display out, so you can hook up a USB-C hub or a DeX cable. Both are going to have a 13 megapixel camera and a 5 megapixel ultra wide camera. And both also benefit from the 9 millisecond S Pen latency that's been updated with these displays, and S Pen. And both have the same exact design materials. I forgot to mention that both of them have a 8 megapixel front-facing camera. As far as the differences, You're going to be looking at a 11-inch TFT display on the Tab S7, while on the Tab S7 Plus, you're going to get a 12.4 Super AMOLED display. I put this video on for you while I'm talking about these differences to see if you can spot any differences. Of course, if you have an AMOLED screen, you may see some, but anyway, let's move on. 120 Hertz mode is actually adaptive on the Tab S7. It cannot be locked in, whereas on the Tab S7 Plus, it is locked. So here you may or may not see some frames dropped, or, well, you won't see the refresh rate as high in some cases. That has not been an issue for me, so it's not something you should worry about too much, but that's something to talk about. Another random tidbit about the displays is that, this is completely random, but I'm just going to throw it in here. The Tab S7's screen timeout can go up to 30 minutes, while the Tab S7 Plus's screen timeout can only go up to 10 minutes. That was just a random fact. I don't know if that would help, but maybe it might help someone. Who knows? The Tab S7 has a fingerprint reader in the power button, which is located right here at the top left corner, while the Tab S7 Plus has that fingerprint reader right in the display, right about here. The resolution between both of these is going to be 2800 by 1752 versus the 2560 by 1600 resolution on the Tab S7. On the Tab S7 Plus, you have a 10,090 milliamp battery versus an 8,000 milliamp battery on the Tab S7. And last but not least, in terms of the weight and product dimensions and everything, the Tab S7 Plus is going to be 1.28 pounds, while the Tab S7 weighs 1.1 pounds. And those are pretty much going to be your differences there. Don't let these differences dictate. Don't let them dictate you going towards the bigger is better type deal thing. I'll be honest, when I first heard about the Tab S7, I kind of skipped over it, and then I got it for my wife and everything, and honestly, it's a really great tablet. Aside from the AMOLED display not being here, it's a really great tablet. The screen is actually not as bad as I thought it was, so definitely don't rule it out if you're choosing between these two. Reason I say that is because sometimes people might also think, hey, I gotta go with the bigger one because it has the better display, but this is not bad. It's definitely not bad. All right, let's look at the design for both of these. So the design is going to be extremely similar. Of course, the biggest thing you're probably going to notice between both of these is the fact that the Tab S7 is smaller than the Tab S7 Plus. I don't want to say a lot because, I mean, it's going to depend on who's using this. This 11-inch screen versus this 12.4-inch screen. Honestly, this may be more than enough, and this may be even big to some. But as you can see, here's that size comparison on both of them right here. If we take a look around the tablets, both of them are extremely, extremely similar. Hold on, before we go ahead. Of course, you see your front-facing camera up here, and there's also your ambient sensors here for light, things of that sort. Now let's start at the top. So if we look at the top of the devices, one of the things you will notice that's going to be different is the fingerprint reader on the Tab S7 is actually integrated into the power button here. So it sits flush with the tablet right here, as opposed to the volume button, which is raised on both the Tab S7 Plus and the Tab S7, and the power button on the Tab S7 Plus is also raised. That's going to be obviously due to the fact that the fingerprint reader on this one is built into the screen. You also have your SD card slots right here, pretty much in the same place. You have your antenna lines, one up here. Well, yeah, one up here for both. And then here on the bottom, a microphone hole right here. If we turn it over, on the bottoms, you have your, hopefully this is coming up in the camera. Let's see. Yep, making sure. You have two speakers, two sets of speakers on the bottom for both tablets. Your USB-C jack right here. And some more antenna lines. There's a total of 3 on the bottom of both of them. Let's turn it over again. On the exact bottom of both tablets, you have 2 indentations here and some pogo pins. And this is for your keyboard if you choose to go with that. And you have, I don't know what this is. You have your antenna lines, one on the top here and one on the bottom. And then on the last side, you have 2 more sets of speakers and 3 antenna lines on both, and then a mic here. And that's pretty much it for the sides of the tablet. Now let's take a look at the bottoms of the tablets. So on the bottoms, back. On the back of the tablets, they're going to be pretty much the exact same also. You'll notice, oops, sorry, don't have that on the camera. You'll notice you have your cameras right here with a LED flash, since that's back. And then you have your S Pen strips right here. This is a smooth to the touch metal. It's not, I kind of like what they did with the Tab S6 better. This is kind of slippery. You have your AKG branding right here. Your Samsung branding here at the top. More antenna lines. This time it's longer on the back so that you get better connectivity. And that's pretty much it for the back. If you want to see how your S Pens go on, they just go on magnetically. So that's it. As far as the software performance and usability, you're not really going to find a lot of differences here, being that the tablets for the most part have the same internals. The 120 hertz is going to be consistent on both. If you have a 120 hertz display, maybe you can see this. Yeah, it's pretty smooth. Other than that, you still have things like the triple window experience like you're seeing here. I have the Samsung Internet browser here, the Google Chrome browser, and YouTube playing. And those work extremely well, extremely fast. No lag, no nothing, no problems there. I will say that the Tab S7 can be a little bit easier to hold in certain situations, especially when you're using it with one hand. And I would definitely also say about the Tab S7, the fingerprint when you're logging into the tablet can potentially be an issue, only because it's actually flush with the device. And what I mean by that is, let's say for instance, if you got long index fingers or whatever, you can go right across that power button / fingerprint reader, and it won't land in the same spot you registered it in. Not a big issue. You'll probably learn it over time due to muscle memory, but maybe something to think about if you're nitpicky like me. The fingerprint reader in here does perform exceptionally well. This one also does too, but I have to say, for an in-screen fingerprint, I'm really happy. Definitely really happy. And that's kind of it in terms of that category. What do we talk about? Software performance and usability. There's really not much you're going to find that's going to be different with with both of these tablets. Now I could go ahead and just share my battery life with you, but that would kind of be an inaccurate test just because this is my tablet and this is my wife's tablet. So I don't use this one every day. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to let these sit here and I'm going to play this video right here. I actually have all of the apps open that you see on screen, and I have the brightness up, kind of doing this in reverse. As you can see here, I have the brightness almost all the way up, and let's see if I can go back. And I just basically opened every single thing here on the screen. So I'm going to just let this play and come back, not exactly when it's over, because I'm not really gonna wait. Well, I mean, it's an hour. Yeah, we'll leave it for an hour. And as you can see, I have both of them on chargers. So I'm going to pull that out, put that to the side, and we're going to pull that one out. Just throw that on my desk, and let's move these over so they're in view. All right. And actually, we got to make sure the volume is... Oh, well, we'll leave it to about half. Let's put it a little past the camera. All right, there we go. Now this should be a little bit more accurate. All right, so here we go. 1, 2, 3. Let's make that full screen. And now we just let these sit. All right, so that took a little bit longer than I expected. I actually went out to go food shopping and forgot that this was on. But it's also better for an accurate battery rundown test, right? So I left these alone for an hour and 48 minutes precisely, and 80% is what they got down to. So as you can see, these things are pretty efficient, especially for Android. I mean, Android has come a long way, I would definitely say, and Samsung has come a long way with their software, but you won't have any problems with the battery life on this thing. Of course, I had every single thing open, like I said, and that YouTube video is playing with all those colors, so these things kind of they didn't have to work as hard as they possibly could, but they did have to work kind of moderately hard, I guess you could say. Anyway, what we want to do now is we want to see how fast these things actually charge. And what I'm going to be doing is using the chargers that came in the box, and these are 15-watt charging bricks over USB-C cables, USB-A to C, not C to C. And I'm just going to give you sort of an idea of how long it would take to charge these things with what comes in the box. I would have done the 45 watt, but honestly, I don't have a another 45-watt charging brick. And I'm pretty sure my laptop charger wouldn't really still be accurate, even though it is over 45 watts, but I don't think it has some of the same stuff inside of it. All right, so let's try to do this at the same exact time. All right, so 1, 2, 3. Oh, actually kind of got them in now. Crap. Whatever. Tab S7 is actually on 79%. So this will be just a general idea. I guess it doesn't really matter the battery life anyway, because we're just seeing how fast they do charge at what rate. So I guess what we're aiming for here is just to see within a given amount of time how much power you can get. So what I'm going to do is set a timer on both of these also for 20 minutes, just to keep it fair, because who knows, maybe the timer or maybe this app running will take some power. Who knows? All right, so let us set this for 20 minutes, even though I already plugged them in, but here we go. And we're just going to leave these here. right, so we're back. This went a little bit beyond the 20 minutes, but here we go. Accidentally stopped the video. Let's dismiss these. And let's see where we're at. All right, so for the Tab S7 Plus, it seems we're at 89%. And for the Tab S7, we're at 93%. That's kind of to be expected, honestly. I mean, there is a smaller battery in this one, 8,000 milliamp versus the 10,090 milliamp here. So with the 15-watt charger, pretty much, this is how it's going to charge. All right, so I know I said I wasn't going to do this 45-watt test, but I'm just going to go ahead and do it since this is supposed to be an in-depth review comparison. So here we have the 45-watt charging block right in this power strip, and this is the cable that came with it. It's supposed to be a 5-amp cable. I'm just going to put this away. Right now the tablet is at 80%. Once again, I made sure it went down to what it was before, and we're just going to set the timer for 20 minutes once again, and we're going to see how fast this charges. So let's put this in at the same time. Here we go. Final seconds, and done. All right, so let us see where we are now. All right, so within that 20 minutes, as you can see, we're at 92%. That's going to be up to you to see if that makes a difference. Of course, you can compare that with the previous result I got when I was just using the 15-watt inbox charger. But as you can see, this charges pretty fast. One of the things that you do want to know, however, is that when it gets down to the final 10%, typically this charger does tend to charge a little bit slower, and that's to save your battery. All right, so we are going to be doing the Tab S7 now, and this one is also down to 80%. So let's see where this goes in the same 20 minutes. Let's see if I can get this at the same time. All right, there we go. All right, so we are down to the few seconds for this, and done. All right, let's see how the Tab S7 did. All right, so that is at 96%. So that's a 4% jump up from what the Tab S7 Plus was. And like I said, that's to be expected. Smaller battery in this one, different screen, different factors go into that. Biggest thing attributing to that is going to be that smaller battery. So there you have it. All right, so to kind of bring my opinion of both of these tablets all together, whichever one you go with, I feel like you're going to be happy. I will obviously say that there are going to be things that you may notice, especially if you've come from using Samsung tablets for a very long time. You know, the AMOLED display on the Tab S7 Plus you cannot beat, but it's also a bigger device, also a little bit heavier, and that may be an issue for some. Maybe some people don't really need something that big. But if you are basically kind of trying to replace a laptop, not, I wouldn't say replace a laptop, but if you want the perfect companion to your laptop, something with a big screen, this is where you're going to go. And also something with the most, I'd say arguably the best display on a tablet, then you're going to go for the Tab S7 Plus. If you want something smaller, something more lightweight, but still has a very decently sized big screen, you're going to go with the Tab S7. Like I said, the panel on here, the TFT panel on here, when I first saw it, I kind of glossed over it. I'm just kind of like, all right, we know what you're trying to do. You're trying to save money. I still do think that in a lot of ways, but I will still say that this panel is not bad. it's still not going to be bad. And that was kind of the only reason I wasn't really going to take a look at this device. But I have to say, they ended up making something extremely well rounded. Uh, and though it doesn't have the same displays that Samsung always uses, and you probably won't get the same, well, you definitely won't get the same color reproduction as you will with an AMOLED. It's good for an 11-inch tablet, just something that's really powerful, something that comes with that S Pen, something that comes with, just a lot of really good internals and is well rounded. Yeah, you have your Tab S7. It's also lighter. It's also going to be easier to hold in your hands. So, yeah, there you have it. I think that whatever choice you go ahead and make for any of these devices, you won't be disappointed. I will, however, say that if you are making choices, if you're going for the official Samsung accessories, the ones that are specific to these devices, i.e. the book covers, like I've gone over in my other videos, the keyboard covers, they are a little bit more expensive for the Tab S7 Plus. That is for whatever reason Samsung wants to, profits, whatever. But I guess that's one thing to kind of keep in keep in mind. And yeah, there you have it. Tab S7 Plus, Tab S7, both extremely great tablets. If not the best on the market, definitely one of the best tablets. One of the best tablets. All right, that doesn't make any sense. Or maybe it does. I'm overthinking it. Anyway, this has been What I Have Reviews, and hopefully this comparison has been very helpful. And let me know in the comments what you decide to go with or if you have any questions. Thanks.